Thanks for joining us this week. I'm Gene Grant. Well, I won't be announcing myself as host, because as they say, all good things must come to an end. And more accurately, even fantastic things must come to an end. And so it is for me as your host of The Line here on New Mexico in Focus. Tonight we wrap nearly 20 years in this seat weekly with a special remembrance with friends, colleagues, and you. We'll have two roundtable discussions to talk about journalism then and now, and what has or hasn't changed since then. We'll also take a look back at some special programming we've brought your way, some of the very special moments I've been able to enjoy, and a final word from me to finish. But everything and everyone has to start somewhere. Longtime viewers, you may recall the name David Aligre Garcia, a wonderful journalist doing great things right now for Reuters News Service. Here's David and I back in 2008, opening the brand spanking new New Mexico in Focus. Election 2008 ends in a landslide.
From Barack Obama's groundbreaking presidential win to a Democratic sweep in New Mexico's congressional races, there's plenty to talk about.
There is. The best analysis and insight on the election outcomes and what it means for New Mexico headed forward in a show that's involved, informed, in depth. It's New Mexico in Focus. Highlands University President Manny Aragon may be back to practicing law every day. The mayor wants your kids to be flipping pages after school instead of jumping rope. And the Wilson Madrid race just got a little warmer. Higher education, after school programs, and politics tonight on The Line.
That's the promise of our
Well, you have to remove the cynicism, the
Stretch.
left, the right.
The rest of us can talk about this till the cows come home. Why do you think all of that's going to change?
Why do you think it's not? I'm Gene Grant, your host for The Line. Hey, everything has to start somewhere, and I want to thank David Aligre Garcia for all his efforts early on in the show. That was the number one. That was the first show, it was a long time ago. Now, one of the best parts of sitting at this table for nearly 2 decades has been the opportunity to meet and speak with so many interesting and knowledgeable people on The Line. And this week, I have a really special group. I'm happy to be joined by 3 people who've played a big role on the Line Opinion panel over the years. And we start with Kathy McGill, someone I've known for years, who's become a key contributor on the program and always a friend. Thank you for being here, Kathy. Next, cross table KKOB radio host TJ Trout, who quickly became one of our go-tos, and we've loved having him on ever since. And back across the table, I'm so pleased to welcome Kathy Wimmer. She helped build the show. You don't know her by face, but she was the show, making sure we had the right group to dissect the issues of the week, and she's here at the table to be with us for a goodbye. Thank you so much. All right, thank you all for being here today. Now, I wanted you all to take a look at a clip our producers found. To our knowledge, my first appearance on New Mexico PBS and New Mexico in Focus, speaking with the show's then host, Kate Nelson.
Gene Grant is a freelance journalist and occasional blogger. Gene, tell me, do you think, does the public anymore want journalistic integrity, or are they just looking for news that caters to their own point of view?
Wow, that's a great question. I think the word itself, journalistic, or the term itself, journalistic integrity, is just being reshaped so quickly. What is, journalism that has integrity anymore in a blog universe? That's the first problem. If you don't have the ability as a reader or as a viewer to kind of have a prism to view what's good journalism to look through, how would you know it if you saw it? So who cares? So get it anywhere, and it just doesn't mean anything. And it circles back to, if it fits my sensibilities in what I want to read and the conclusions I've already brought to the table, then it's good journalism. But if it doesn't, and it doesn't challenge you in the right way to bring you to another place, I think a lot of people are inclined to see that as bad journalism. And I think that's where we get stuck right now out there with how people consider it.
Why are fewer people reading newspapers?
Oh boy, it's really funny. I think it's one of those things you have to sort of have grown up and modeled for you at your kitchen table as you're growing up. And I think as less people do that as time goes by, that habit of the daily paper, the thing that we all grew up with, my growing up included, reading the Boston Globe every day at about age 11 or 12, which is pretty weird, but that's what was modeled for me. And I think a lot of us just don't have that anymore. We don't see that. And since we can just get it on the fly when we need it, why do we need to hear that clunk on the front step of the paper?
Well, let's talk about that new habit. In consuming news on the web, I find for myself, I'm getting nibbles of it.
Yeah.
I'm a few minutes on this website, I'm a few minutes on that site. It's not like sitting down with the Sunday New York Times and devouring a lot of information. What is that doing to our sense of the community? What's it doing to our thought processes?
You know, it's interesting. I don't know how quite yet the inability to sit down and read a 5,000-word piece is sort of affecting the culture. You do need time, and it kind of has to fit in your life. And I do the same thing. I'm just as guilty of taking those bites on the web. I cruise 6 or 8 newspaper websites a day. You can't read them all cover to cover, so you have to take little bites here and there. At some point, the best you can do is get an accumulation of opinions if you're biting, and you can come to some kind of conclusion that you have a sense of the story. You have a sense of what the issues are. So that's the upside of that, of getting it in bites. The downside of that, I think, it seems to me, is if you don't bring that other part to it, the ability to kind of look at all those little bites on the table as a mass at the end of the day or at the end of your session, what good has it done? You've just, nothing's really sort of sunk in. So I think it's an individual thing, but I think for most folks, I'm just happy they're going out there biting. You know what I mean? that
Getting at least that much.
Right.
Very quickly, how do you view your role, your responsibility as a journalist?
It's pretty easy for me. When I sit down and write a piece every day, if I can't, at the end of what I write, feel like it's going to be influential in some way, and I don't mean just to provoke, I think that's pretty cheap, but I think to really be influential and bring some new information to someone's sensibilities and how they view the world, then I've failed that reader. I failed that reader, and that's what I think most people who sit down and do this business actually do in one way or the other. Hopefully they still do.
Gene Grant, thank you.
Thanks for having me. Well, there's a popular play back in the 70s, 4 letters. Well, let me see, what was that? Hair! It was hair! Right? There was a lot of hair back in 2005, y'all. There's been a lot of hair since, right? Yes. Oh, man. Like I said, that was back in 2005 when blogs were all the rage, something you heard me bring up with Kate about my concern about confirmation bias. Oh, my God. That if readers didn't like the news they were hearing, they could just go to a different blog or website to reinforce what they already believed about the world. Now, since that interview, the blog era has evolved through social media. 18 years later, it's amazing. The question remains the same. Kathy McGill, can the average reader or viewer identify good journalism? The kind of reporting that challenges how they think and stuff like that. What do you think's out there on the landscape now?
I don't know that people really want to be challenged. That confirmation bias still exists, and it's aided by the algorithms that only feed you the news of things that you want to hear. So, if you're not a seeker of truth, then you can sort of, sit in your bias.
That's right. That's right. A lot of people don't have the patience and time, TJ Trout, to read a 5,000-word, set piece on a Sunday. Yeah. But folks miss out on a lot. How do we make up that gap? What happens?
Your hair
That's a shame.
was amazing.
It was amazing.
You were very attractive.
That's a shame.
Hair is powerful.
Look.
Many books have been written about hair. So.
To your question though, I kind of agree with you about how people don't have the patience to sit through a 5,000-word piece of journalism anymore. Right. And I agree with you. However, I slightly disagree with you in the fact that I think 20, 30, 40 years ago, I don't think they had the patience to sit through it back then either. They didn't. I think the only people that would sit through and read a 5,000 piece of good journalism are people who are already fully engaged with the political process and knew that they had to take the time to do this. Right. I think everybody else, even back then, were still distracted by shiny things, TV, and life. I mean, life got in the way of people doing that.
That's right, exactly right. Yeah. Kathy Whitmer, I'm so glad you're at the table. Oh my God.
First time at the table after all these years.
It's amazing to think about. Because you predate me here, so you were here a long time.
We have a lot of history.
That's
a lot
right.
of history.
That's right. I'm curious from your point of view, though. I brought up something that's still valid today. It's the concern over how easy it is to get lost scrolling through little bits of information. I mean, it's even worse now. And you had to do that for work here. You had to scroll through so many news sites every week, every Monday, every Friday. Is it too much for people?
That's the thing. I I would scroll through a lot of information, but I think we need to like look at, okay, what are we scrolling for? I am the facts kind of person, you know, and what actually happened when, where, why, what was it? And that's the important thing. And sometimes you get that information, and if you don't then pass that on, like there's a piece missing.
That's right.
And that's one of the things, you know, we did a lot when I even wrote scripts for The Line, was you got to get all those facts in there and the pieces that are important. And yes, it's easy to scroll past that, but you even mentioned back in 2005 on In Focus with Kate Nelson about nibbles versus a meal, you know, and you get little nibbles, and that's great. But if you're missing like the nutrients of the meal, you know, you know, that's a problem. And so sometimes that's what you need journalists to do, is to point out the proteins.
That's right.
You know.
I got a question regarding T.J. Trout. For you, Kathy McGill. Let's say you're listening to T.J. TJ's angle of attack is not to be a news person, to have fact, as Kathy pointed out, but to offer a different perspective on the news, a different perspective on the headlines. Does that not count as part of the mix out there? I mean, TJ's filling in a certain sort of a blank there for certain people.
I think that, yeah, like your personality, right? You have your opinion. We all have our opinions. And as long as it's presented as that and not presented as fact and not, you know, these sort of alternative facts that have become popularized these days, that people understand that you are expressing your opinion, that they have the ability, and that you should encourage them to go out and research for yourself. I always say, you know, don't take my word for it. Go read it for yourself. Here's what I think about it. You can agree or disagree.
Well, that's what I say all the time. I mean, it is so, it is so important on my show too. To get the truth out. I mean, and especially these days. I mean, that's the whole thing. I think that is the issue of our generation right now. What is truth? I mean, because there are so many different versions of what truth is purported to be. You know.
Another big part of this, Kathy had to deal with this as well when she was with us, is that dealing with folks angry about certain facts not being expressed or certain angles of attack not being explored, that kind of thing. The reason I bring that up, Tej, is that people now have a way to get to personalities like you or a producer like Kathy very easily. Before it was snail mail, when I was doing columns at the Tribune, you know, people would complain it came in an envelope with a stamp on it, you know what I mean? They can get right at you right after a show and say you're a bum, or me, or anybody, you know what I mean? How has that changed the relationship?
It hasn't changed my relationship at all. And what I learned very early on, that I generally, I call it the text line that comes into the radio station, and I don't care if I angry people at all. I call it the abuse line.
Yes.
And you know what it is? It's a bunch of people, generally speaking, screaming from the cheap seats, whatever they want to scream, with no filter, and they know if you said something like that to their face, they said something like that to my face, we'd have a problem.
That's right.
You know, so
our management has to deal with a lot of things here. An opinion show, believe me.
So I try to just keep that stuff away, keep your head down, and put forth the best product you can, and put out as much information, good information, as you can for people, and hopefully they'll listen.
That's right. Hey, folks at home, when our producers went digging for those old clips, it really was funny to find my first appearance was centered around a topic we just packaged into a two-part special, the state of journalism in New Mexico. We just ran that 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Most media outlets don't have the time or resources to turn the lens on themselves from time to time. So, Kathy Wimmer, I want to ask, do you think it's a valuable exercise to reflect on and assess our own industry, and maybe more importantly, let people know how we do our jobs?
Absolutely. And that was one of the things that I always was very adamant about because, okay, Gene, you're the Uber host. This is the end of an era of you being the Uber host. But you were the host of The Line, and also did lots of hard news interviews.
That's right.
The Line is an opinion panel, and we very carefully wanted to say it's different opinions. Now, you can have alternate opinions, not alternate facts.
Right.
And that was your job, is to keep that going. But the audience also wanted to know your opinion too.
That's right.
And you would be able to bring in your opinion with The Line. Yeah. And you, that's one of the things I always think you were a master at, and I will talk more about that, is that, you know, there's all specialties in so much of the news, that, you know, somebody covers sports, someone covers arts, someone covers the good feeling news of the day, and you got to do all of them.
That's right.
And you you crossed each one very well, and I mean, and you spanned each topic very well, and you're the master at it.
I appreciate that a lot. Absolutely.
Yeah, I gotta hand it to you.
I want to note on something you mentioned in the middle there, and that is my ability to express my own opinion. But that's something I was always very conscious of. You cannot do that often. There are certain times to do it from this seat, but people want to hear people from these seats over here. That's always what you have to keep in the front of my mind. And interestingly, during a two-part special last month, we spoke about the changing ways viewers get their information and noted that younger viewers, this is interesting, Gen Z and millennials consume the most news while scrolling online. So has waking up and scrolling on your phone replaced my generation's morning routine or starting the day with your morning newspaper? I mean, again, is this a credible way to get your news? And have newspapers adapted to the shift? Probably more importantly.
I think newspapers are working very hard to adapt to the shift because they have to.
Yes.
You got to have an online presence. And so I hope that people are, scrolling through and trying to sample something from a lot of different places before coming to a final conclusion.
That's right.
So, get some more eyes on it, ask about what's really going on and read it for yourself.
Exactly right. TJ.
Gene.
I think about you often. You have a question to ask me, I think.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see it in your eyes.
Well,
I know you. I can say you're noodling something over there.
I'm writing notes over here, Gene. Okay. It was interesting with you and Kate Nelson back in 2005 discussing the state of journalism back then.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think has changed? I think I know what has changed, but what do you think about the responsibility in 2023 for a journalist?
That tricky question, responsibility. I believe it's about letting the reader or the viewer know who you are. There's almost a responsibility of that. Like, who is this person giving me this information?
Yeah.
I need a little bit more than just a byline, a name, a gender. I need something just a little bit more than that as a consumer from myself. I'm not asking for your political bias. I'm not asking for your background. I'm not asking how you voted. Not that stuff, but I do generally want to know about the writer or the presenter. And I think you owe that a little bit to the audience these days. I think back when you didn't have to do a lot of that kind of stuff.
100%, I agree 100% with you. And the thing that kills me these days are the so-called journalists who are just throwing stuff out there on social media that have no training, no education really to speak of, and they're just full of opinions and misinformation and hearsay.
It's hard to parse.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said they want to know a little bit more about you and where it's coming from, because it's not just a talking head. It's something, and we need that. We need that communication.
That's right.